833.
Back on Get Down to Business, the show that's all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And honored to be joined by State Senator Toi Hutchinson, who is joining us to discuss the crisis that is the state budget. Senator Hutchinson, welcome to Get Down to Business. Senator, are you with us? Looks like we're having
I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Welcome to Get Down to Business. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course, little technical issue over there. So, Senator, you and I have spoken in the past, and I know that you're a fierce advocate for the most important services, and unfortunately, those services are at risk in this state budget that is currently, I think, non-existent. Do you mind giving our listeners a quick update on what's been going on in Springfield?
Yeah, right now there is no agreement on a budget for the state. The legislature has not found a way to agree with the governor's ideas for what it is he would like to have in place before he's willing to sign one. We did pass a budget that showed what our priorities are, and we hoped that he would use that tool called the line item veto to at least, whittle it down and see what it is he thought was essential versus what is not essential, so that we could actually get some progress as to the most important thing facing the state right now, and that's an operating budget.
So to give our listeners some perspective, you joined the state Senate in 2009, represent the 40th district, and you live with your family in Olympia Fields, which includes, your district includes Chicago Heights and a number of the south suburbs. You've been you and I have had this conversation that you aim to work on behalf of the business community as well as many of the folks that need the important services that the state and many nonprofits provide. So, Toi, what do you think is at risk over here? First of all, during this shutdown, as it's being called, what is happening and what is not happening?
Well, number one, as of July 1, that was the beginning of the fiscal year, the state is now operating without a budget in place. And that means that essential services, things for the most vulnerable folks and the most dangerous jobs that we have, were at risk of not being paid. State employees are at risk of not receiving their paycheck on July 15th. A number of different core services and everything that has to do, that would be under that line item of human services, were at risk. The one thing that happened was that the governor did sign the portion of the budget that was for K through 12 education, so the schools will open on time. But what I try to explain to people, and I like this about the intro that you just had, is that, the business community and the regular folks every day who may not own a business but do patronize businesses, one can't operate with the other. And the best way that I describe this is, I remember having lunch with my daughter at a restaurant downtown. And while we were having lunch at the outdoor patio, there was a man standing outside who was panhandling, clearly mentally disabled, really kind of talking to the patrons and panhandling and things like that. And I asked her, what do you think is going to happen to him when they shoo him away? And she said, well, they're probably, I don't know. I mean, he's going to go away. I said, right. He's either going to go to another restaurant and do the exact same thing, or he's going to be arrested.
Right.
And once he's arrested, the largest provider of mental health services we have in this state right now is Cook County Jail, because we don't fund mental health services across the state. So the most important thing for people to realize is that if we are going to be efficient with the small dollars we have, it is incumbent upon us to concentrate on how we spend those dollars smarter, not necessarily have a question that only centers around cuts. So in that example, we're going to spend 3 times the amount to incarcerate him than we would if we would spend money on mental health services that would have kept him from being on the street in the first place. That's the crux of the fight right now.
That's right. That's right. And I think and I hope that what folks on both sides of the aisle can agree is that we have to think out of the box. There's no question that we're in a tough situation. But the reality is that right now, who's being hurt from this? It is the most vulnerable. It is, right now with the state shutdown, we're not doing a lot of good to our reputation as a home for business. If businesses are realizing that they can't get paid, they're already behind months and months, and now this is just making it more difficult. So folks like Toi Hutchinson,
here's the economic argument on that. Illinois is the 5th largest state in the country. We are the largest state in the Midwest. We have a gross state product that exceeds over $720 billion. And out of $720 billion, you mean to tell me we can't figure out a way to afford childcare or after-school situations that are safe for our children or help for the mentally disabled or autism funding? The problem that we see right now is that in the crux of all of this is that the people who can least afford to fight back are the ones who are being used as leverage right now. And that's just unconscionable.
Well,
So
what I always say to family members is that I think the recipe is wrong right now. I think we need to redo the recipe. I think the ingredients are there, but right now we need to come up with a new approach. We need to do things better. We need to do things smarter. We need to make sure that those that are most vulnerable, we need to make sure that those that need the services are provided those services. We need to be attractive to businesses. And I know you and I can see very, very closely eye to eye on that issue. And hopefully we'll continue that conversation because we need people like you that are willing to fight the fight. So we are out of time. Senator
thanks
Hutchinson.
Thanks for highlighting this. I love it. Thank you.
Of course. You have a website, senatorhutchinson.com. I encourage our listeners, check out Senator Toi Hutchinson's website to find out updates on the state budget. And, Senator, we'll have you back on when things have settled down. But thanks for joining us tonight.
Great. Thank you. And thank you to all your listeners.
Fantastic. After the break, we're going to continue the conversation about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business.